one of Australia's favourite musicians. He's played with Roy Orbison, Jojo Zepp and the Falcons, Cold Chisel, Split Enz, an amazing musician. But to you and I, Big Al, we remember him on our TV sets literally every Saturday night. And if I wasn't home, I'd set the video recorder.
That's right.
And watch it Sunday morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll play our little buffer and then we'll bring on Mr. Wilbur Wilde.
Hello.
Yay!
Mr. Wilbur Wilde, how are you?
Yeah, good, Cats, yeah. And the monologue, it's gold. It's gold. I had to listen to it. Every joke hit.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, thank you so much. Well, thank you for joining us. This is a pleasure to have you on board.
It's my pleasure too. I'm just going to try and get rid of my look, I was going to try and put this behind me, but that's all right, isn't it? You know,
Nah, good telephone. I've got my cord and we've
got.
It's not as if I haven't made an effort, by the way. Hang on, I'm just trying to get more light onto the subject over here. But now I've got my coffee cup sitting on the light source, so that could be
I've got my coffee cup down on
complete disaster. But it's nice. Great.
Yeah.
Everything's going fine over here in Melbourne, which is my hometown.
Yeah.
And it's half an hour earlier up here, but I'm sure you'll catch up. You know what I mean?
That's not what the future is like.
Yes, I'm coming to you from the future.
Oh. But you've got big connections to Adelaide, right? Tell us about your Adelaide connections.
Oh, well, look, tons and tons. Well, we used to come there in the olden days with Old 55. So probably first visit to Adelaide was 1975. And then with the Falcons, I joined the Falcons in 77. And we'd come and play the circuit and really enjoyed the gigs over there. And I kept on coming back with my jazz band. Did some work with Ivan Tanner. I can't remember the name of the club, but one tour that Old 55 did, this is sort of notable, with the Skyhooks in 1976.
Wow.
Yeah.
We sort of went up the East Coast and then came back down the Silver City Highway into Adelaide, eventually, Broken Hill and everything. And we went to, is it the Old Lion?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's where I first saw Rum Jungle.
Yeah.
Which was, I didn't know this at the time, but the bass player with the Falcons, John Power, I met him a year later. He was good mates with Phil Coulson, who played guitar, and James Black was playing keyboards. It was just a really great band. So, 50 years ago is when we sort of first saw those cats. So, there's some lovely things that have happened along the way.
And you play with the Angels as well quite often, don't you? One of Adelaide's success stories.
I've got a party piece I do with the Angels. In fact, I was on the phone with John Brewster earlier in the night on an unrelated matter. But I play a harmony on Uncle Rick's guitar solo in Long Line. So
nice.
Nice. It's just a nice thing to do, And they play. They'll come over here and do 8,000 people at Rochford Winery or Werribee Park Mansion for one of the red hot summer tours. I just walk on. I walk on, sort of sing harmonies in one song, play a solo and walk off. But of course they go nuts, right? And as soon as they see me, and of course Long Line is like features maybe like 2 or 3 numbers before the final number, it's just Marseille or something like that, because the Angels just got this incredible back catalogue. So every song they play from the go is a hit. And so Brewster and I have a running gag where, the Angels would be smashing it anyway. And then I walk on and take, just like another bit of applause and stuff like that, And so they go, he says, we were bombing before you arrived, So, but
but you played on some amazing songs, and I until you look it up, you don't actually know.
Tell me.
I did not know that you played the sax solo on Tim Finn's Fraction Too Much Friction and Staring at the Embers, which was a great Tim Finn song, and Voices by Split Enz. I'm a big Finn Brothers fan, but I had no idea that was you until I was having a little poke around on your website.
Well, I did the horn lines on Fraction Too Much Friction, and Joe Camilleri actually plays the saxophone solo. So there's an alto solo. So Joe played on those as well. And on that was the Escapade album. And I did some other stuff on there too, produced by Ricky Fattar. It was like a really good project. And we did some live performances after that. And I didn't know until recently that they recorded those live performances. So there's some really good stuff. The Escapade Tour Live, which was 82, 83, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But the Voices thing, the Split Enz, their last album.
Yeah.
I was doing a recording session for a jingle in the same studios, and I just heard through the big studio door. So, I'd finished my session. I heard this. I said, "Oh, that sounds nice." So I poked my head in there, And of course, in the olden days, you've got to lock out on the studio 24 hours. It's just hundreds of thousands of dollars. And Neil was just sitting behind the mixing desk, And I poked my head in. I said, "Oh, that's a nice tune." He sort of went, "Thank you." There's a laugh every half hour, Neil Finn. And because I couldn't help myself, just the sheer audacity of this. I said, "Could do with a saxophone solo, though." He sort of went, "Oh, really?" He said, "Let's set up a mic and see what happens." I mean, just to waltz in. And,
if he was recording Don't Dream It's Over at the time, we'd have a sax solo on that from you.
Well, you know what? I do play a version of Don't Dream It's Over with my band, Wilbur Wilde and the Troublemakers. And the saxophone sounds really nice in that tune. It's a beautifully constructed tune, as all of the Crowdies tunes are. But I reckon in that Voices tune, you can start, which was Split Enz, you can sort of start to hear the transition. It's actually, it's one of the saxophone bits upon which I can reflect and say, it's okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for mentioning it.
Dig it out. These songs now are everybody's fingertips. You just go straight to Spotify or Apple Music.
Well, my alarm to remind me, just to get ready and make my cup of tea, cup of coffee went off at 5 minutes before we started, and it defaults straight to Spotify, and I've got tons and tons of different eclectic songs. It might be dub reggae, it might be some jazz saxophone or piano or whatever, it might even be Split Enz, but so it's all there for the asking. And I understand there's contention about all this sort of stuff. Nevertheless, I co-hosted a conversation hour on ABC Radio half a dozen years ago, and Wayne Shorter was the guest, and it was brought up. John Fane was the broadcaster in Melbourne, and he brought it up to say, he said, "Well, how do you feel about your songs being sort of all over the YouTube, and you're not getting?" Shorter just said, "Look, man, it just means more people get to hear my music," and I sort of okay, I can go with that too.
Yeah, and it seems to be keeping the older bands continuing, right? Because you can find a younger audience. Like I did go and see Split Enz it was a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And there were all ages there. And, like Tim Finn must be close to mid-70s, I guess.
Well, the music is 40 years old.
Yep.
50 years old was when Split Enz hit town, and we did. I can say that because Old 55 did I reckon we did a support gig for Split Enz in Melbourne in 1976. At Dallas Brooks Hall.
Wow,
because we were all on the Mushroom record label, so that's when and they'd hit town like a couple of weeks before that sort of thing. Well, a couple of months maybe, but. And the Angels you mentioned are, they're getting there's young people in the audience too.
Yeah.
Younger than me anyway. A lot younger than Brewster. Bruce much older.
Yeah.
But what a fantastic...
It stands up, right? The music stands up because my kids listen to old music and they can choose from anything through history, but they'll listen to the older music and go, that's good stuff. And I try not to say, this is what you should listen to, but they just find it and go, oh, this is awesome. Yeah.
I've got the three youngest of my 5 known children are all very musical. And they have gravitated. And I mean, I said to them years ago, I said, look, there's two 23-year-olds, non-identical. And Howard is 25, almost 26, right? And beautiful guitar player. Toby's studying third year jazz at the VCA's.
Oh, wow.
Piano player and a great singer. And his brother Elliot, I'm driving to Sydney next week to see Elliot, who's been cast in a Hayes theatre production of The Addams Family. And I'm 6'5". Although there are people who disagree with that now. Maybe I'm 6 foot. I don't know. But Elliot's like 3 inches taller than me. So, of course, he's been cast as Lurch.
That's fantastic.
But they're all beautiful singers and fine musicians. That's it. Years ago, I said, look, I'm not an authority figure in your life. At best, I'm a consultant. And they have found, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and Toby has a band, he's written songs for them, and they're really sophisticated. Like he's listened to a lot of Split Enz and bluegrass and stuff like that, and it hasn't anything to do with me. They haven't basically. I can't tell them what to do, and they've never consulted me on a thing. So parenting 101.
That's great. Yeah. Has he been practicing on you? When you call him, he'll go, "You rang." Like, is he?
Elliot, he's the one in the theatre. I tell you, I can't. Well, I'm just going to drive up to Sydney Wednesday, the 22nd. The Hayes Theatre is not a big theatre, but it's a highly respected, highly regarded theatre company. It looks terrific on your CV if you're worried about that stuff. I can't wait to see him. I saw Toby and Elliot do in their VCE year at Kew High School in Melbourne, in one of the windows of opportunity we had, which was 2021. They VCE'd in 2021. And I saw them do sometimes Sweeney Todd, and it just blew me away. I clutched at my pearls when I saw my two-board.
You've done a few movies yourself. Obviously, a bit of
a little bit,
Drive-In and Mad Max and the Trojan Warriors. So, obviously, chip off the old block, I think.
I just say when people say that, I just generally deflect it and say that their mother played flute at Baldwin High School for 6 months, and that's. I've been posted. I've got actually a friend of mine in Adelaide, Victor Marshall, who's been assisting me with Facebook and Insta, and which is a really full-time job. And he's so bright, Victor, and an absolute student and historian of Australian music. Who's just knows heaps of things and is really interested and interesting. He's been helping me out, and he found a clip of a movie that I did the other day, a two-hander with Deborah Lee Furness. I've never seen it. And he put it up. It's like a little 15-second bite. And he said, how did that come about? And I said, well, the guy who directed that movie with Deborah Lee was Jenny Kissed Me. And it was directed by the same guy who did Dead End Drive-In and Brian Trenchard Smith. And after I'd done Dead End Drive-In, he called me and he said, I've got this movie. It's a two-hander with Deborah Lee. And I said, great, terrific. And he said, you're a telecom guy. I said, okay, where's the script? He said, just go in the other room and write a scene.
Oh, wow.
So, which is kind of cool,
Yeah.
And it's just a little bite-sized chunk. But with the Mad Max thing too, that was 1979. One of our friends was in it. He came to me and my then girlfriend and said, this movie we're doing, they need a couple of extras. I said, yeah, sure. It's something to do. And I was like, we got $50. And in the opening scenes of Mad Max, you see our friend, actually, John Lee, our late friend, he's a cop in one of those yellow Interceptors. He sounds a siren. Steve Millichamp is a great actor who died too soon. He's looking through the rifle scope. This is in the first 59 seconds when he's looking through the rifle scope at two young lovers in a field. It's me and Michelle. And the siren sounds and we scurry off like scared rabbits. One of those blancmange-like bottoms disappearing in the distance belongs. But who knew?
Yeah.
Because you don't know. Simon's, Red came around a couple of days later, and I'm sitting at the piano. And I was sort of going, Mad Max, what's it going to do? I was thinking about a theme tune because Dr. George knew that I was in a band, and, they got around. And so, Mad Max. And Red sort of walked in. He said, what are you doing? I said, it's this movie. It's, with Michelle and I just. And he said, well, how much is the budget? He said, I don't know, 600, 700,000 bucks. He said, it's not going to do anything. Let's just go and get a coffee. Closed the lid on the piano. We walked out. So who knows?
And you joined Hey Hat Saturday in 1984, right?
Yes, that's right. It went nighttime. That's right. I became a principal cast member of the class of 84.
Wow.
Right.
9:30 till midnight, and then Red joined in 86. By which time we were 6:30 till 8:30, which is pretty much where we stayed there. Yeah. That was our home. Our spiritual home was 6:30 to 8:30 on Saturday nights on Channel 9.
Yeah,
sometimes to 9, depending how loose it got.
Sorry, Big Al.
Sometime until 9 o'clock. Depends how loose the show got.
No. By the time we were doing that, it became very, we had to finish on time and stuff. And there were the odd occasions where we sort of. But they'd put on, especially in Sydney, they'd go to like rugby league, the NRL. They're quite protective of their time slots. Understandably,
Yeah.
But there was probably a little more wiggle room in the old like the first year. 9:30 till midnight. I think we sort of broke curfew, so to speak, a couple of times, but not really a lot. It was 2 hours, and that was enough, by the way. When 2.5 hours for the first year, but 2 hours. When the red light went on at 6:30, and the next 2 hours I've described to people as being akin to the running of the bulls.
Because you get put on the spot.
You had to pay attention. No, that's it. Yeah, you were on, and it's great. And there's nothing like live performance. And I've been thinking about this, the threat of AI and stuff like that. And surely to composers and recording artists, mainly to songwriters, I think there's, you have a listen to something that's been put through Suno, one of those AI programs. And I saw a thing on YouTube the other night, and it was, here's a couple of demos I wrote in 2004. And he played them, and they sound nice. Here's what they sound like now when I put them through Suno. And it was extraordinary. It's
crazy, isn't it?
Profound what happened. That said, with live performance, it's believe your eyes, believe your ears, believe us. It's my ad campaign for it.
Totally. And you can't beat it.
Yeah, believe your eyes, believe your ears, believe us.
Yeah.
So I want John Bell from the Bell Shakespeare Company to walk off stage from a rehearsal, and I'll just get a little grab of him saying that, and then and the comedians too. I'll get Jack Levi, Elliot Goblet, or Richard Stubbs just to walk off stage and in their style say, believe us, believe your ears, believe your eyes, believe us.
It's important.
And this is how we're going to end the show.
Get people back to live performance. Get people back to live stuff. Live TV is great too, right? Live radio is fantastic as well. There's no substitute for that.
So do you miss it on a Saturday night? Do you miss every? Does it feel a bit weird on a Saturday night still to this day that you're not doing the show, or have you moved on?
Oh no, well, we had our time and we had our fun, and it has been 26 years since we finished.
Yeah, right. Time flies, right?
That's crazy.
We did the reunion, even the reunion shows in 2010. It's 16 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It is crazy, isn't it? Like
it is crazy.
For us, it feels like yesterday that we were.
It does.
You're in our lounge rooms, mate. And
I love it that people in the street recognise me and come up, and they come up and say, "Hi, you must get sick of this, Wilbur, but we used to watch all the time." For starters, I say, "No, I don't get sick of it." And they say, "Oh, but you don't know me." So, well, what's your name? And we have a chat. And that's very sweet. I think that's fantastic. Apropos of missing out on a Saturday night, I did a gig on Saturday. I played with my friend Grant Hansen, who was the executive producer and presenter of the Marngrook Footy Show. And we had a fantastic night at the Deadly NAIDOC 50th anniversary celebration.
Oh, lovely.
Oh,
Right.
nice.
You know, so I still get my, well, you know, look, I've thriven on live performance all my life. And I go, I just try to generate the next gig after. It's always a hustle.
Yeah.
It's always been a hustle.
Yeah.
Somewhat easy when you've got a network television profile. It just went berserk. Okay. With Old 55 and the Falcons for about 7 years collectively, we'd go on Countdown and what was that Lee Simon's show, Night Moves. And we'd be Donny Sutherland sound. So we had a profile. You know, you sort of get recognised a bit in the street. Hey, it's Saturday. Network TV is just a different ball game.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
And we went all the way up to Papua New Guinea. We were on in New Zealand for a little while, although I think it was like Wednesday at midnight. So, you know, didn't ever take off in New Zealand. But you know, friends of mine would be touring the Northern Territory. You know, they'd be out at Owen Pelly, now called Gumbalanya, and you know, it's Arnhem Land. And they'd say, "Oh yeah, we did a gig." And, "Oh, what was that like?" So yeah, it was great. But you know, in the corner of the room, they had, you know, black and white TV with Hey on it.
Yeah.
So,
but there's nothing quite like that anymore, though, because network TV doesn't have the audience that it had in those days.
No, that's times have changed.
Yeah. So, which is, you know, I guess there's benefits.
It's just what it is.
It's just what it is. Yeah.
And I think it is beneficial. For me, I think the access to more information is great. There are those, and could, you know, quite logically argue the point that the access to information and social media has created its own problems too, you know, especially say in the younger, I'm bumping things here, with younger children getting bullied and things like that. Now, bullying's always happened. I mean, I was at a boys' school, you know, and but it's different now, you know. It's and everything you do or anything you do can be found on YouTube if you're not careful.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like it's and you can't stop. Like I used to get bullied at school, and then I'd get home, and Dad would do the same to me. But no, I'm kidding. No, it was. But you know,
excuse me to say.
Now it's just like social media. It's just nonstop. It's it's crazy.
Look, and also, you know, that it's just we have to adapt. We're you know, resilient, and we're, you know. I can still hear resilient and all those things that clumsy people aren't, you know. But we adapt. That's what we've got to do. And there's you know, there's lots of stuff. When I say the access to information, I follow world affairs all the time, and you know, there's lots of things. Pretty much everything is out of my control. I can control my attitude to whatever happens. That's it. The rest of it's a lottery. But and also, you know, I can practice the saxophone and I can learn. And on YouTube, there are really great things and stuff that I haven't ever thought of hearing. And bless their cotton socks for putting this stuff up. You know, Coltrane and Parker and Miles, and, you know, concerts of Dexter Gordon from Montreux Jazz Festival in 1978. You know, just so there's no excuse for being bored if you're a musician, and if you're interested in something, you can find it and learn more about it.
There's a lot of old stuff of you online. I found here's a little ad. Can I play this?
Sure.
From
play whatever you like.
1984. Have a look at this.
Hi, I'm Wilbur Wilde, and have I got something for you? Just take a look at this. Love songs of the rock and roll era. All the greats. The Everly Brothers, Neil Sedaka, Paul Anka, Cliff Richard, Dal Shannon, The Hollies, Connie Francis, Bobby Darin, and heaps more. 40 original hits. This is the one to get, baby. Love songs of the rock and roll era. 2 big albums on record or cassette, so don't miss it.
Out now from Dino Music.
No, it's good.
Music, wow.
Have you still got that one in your collection?
What I noticed from I don't think I ever had that one. But those artists, fantastic. It's great. And of course, Old 55 drew a lot from that time. And Frank Holden was just the most incredible frontman to work with. Yeah. And we were doing gigs, and Frank retired from live performance about 18, 20 months ago, right? We've been working together all that time. So that's part of our DNA. But I just noticed there's the black hair. This is a true story. There was this chick hairdresser who I really liked her, and and she worked in a salon owned by a friend of mine. Right, I wasn't mentioning names. I went specifically to get a haircut, and she did, it took like 25 minutes or whatever it was, and she said, "How do you like that?" 25 minutes wasn't long enough. At that stage, I wanted to spend longer with her. I said, Sally, what else can we do? She said, well, I could dye it. So yeah, do that. I dyed my hair black so I could hang around in the salon until it dried or whatever. It took a couple of years to grow out. This is the thing. I didn't put a rinse through. It was like a full-on black hair dye. Anyway, there you go. And by the way, the love affair was one-sided and, of course, completely unrequited. Never saw her again.
Day out of it.
And then we did the Dino ad, but it was very funny.
Right, almost took Molly's job there, mate. So with that Dino ad, it's.
Look,
you still see Molly, don't you?
I went for a visit to Molly's place last week, and he's old now, right?
Yeah.
And don't bump your head, all right? Just don't. Don't, just because he was in good spirits, and I dropped in to see Molly. There was a couple of things I needed to tell him. I just bumped into a couple of people and wanted him to know that when we were on the road last year with Absolutely 80s, we did a countdown special, right? Yeah. And Bob Starkey was playing with us, and it was that show, and there was a great tribute to Molly, like an audiovisual tribute, and Scott Kahn and Brian Mannix wrote the show, and Scott Kahn came out and sang a really good version of The Real Thing. So I wanted Molly to know that, because he didn't get to see the show himself. Yeah. And also wanted him to know that I love him, and he'd made a big difference in my life. And I sat there for a while and was able to say those things. And
that's beautiful.
Yeah. So because there are lots of people, well, I won't say lots, but there's a dozen people in my life that have made a really big difference. And in the main part, I've let them know it while they've still been with us. That's just something I would do, except for Dr. Jolly. Dr. Jolly was our GP when I was 11 years old, and I had bronchitis, and Mum took us, to Dr. Jolly in Luck Street, Eltham. It's northern suburb.
What a great name for a doctor, by the way.
Dr. Jolly, yeah. And he had sort of horn rim glasses. This is my, recollection. Horn rim glasses. And he was like doctory, he had a stethoscope, and he was like Dr. Jolly. Yeah. And my bronchitis, he said, "No, look, I'm going to prescribe medication for you, so you've got to take that." And I said, "Yes, Dr. Jolly." Probably holding Mum's hand here, And then he said, "Now, do some swimming, because that'll strengthen your lungs." I like swimming, Dr. Jolly, don't I, mate? Do some swimming. And almost, as I remember it, an afterthought, he sort of went, "Hey, maybe play a wind instrument." Hey, Doc, thanks for the career.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Oh, there you go. We can thank
Dr. Jolly. Dr. Jolly. There we go.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you so much.
Been a pleasure, fellas.
Very appreciative.
We're massive fans, and so we really appreciate you coming on. We had the wonderful Andrew Fife a few weeks ago, and he really sang your praise.
It was great, yeah, really good. And Fife is doing some wonderful art still, and I went to the opening of his last exhibition, and there were some people from Hey Hey there as well. Some
brilliant.
of the women that were associate producers and worked with us on the show, and it was great. And funnily enough, here's one for you. From artistic connections in the art world, Andrew met a woman who came and introduced herself to me. She said, "Oh, so-and-so." And I've met Andrew because we're painting, we were at the same class or something like that. And she said, also, I'm Ernie Carroll's daughter. So Ernie Carroll was our Aussie ostrich and a great mentor and a father figure and an ally for me. And there you go. From, no connection to the actual show, Andrew meets.
Yeah. That's amazing, isn't it?
I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's meant to be, isn't it? Like that's where fate just really works. It's beautiful magic.
I don't know anything, but those things really they stick with me. So
hey, family tree. That's
and it's like
all right.
Dr. Jolly. Like if he didn't tell you to do the wind instrument, we probably wouldn't be talking here right now. So it's all that kind of stuff all comes together, doesn't it?
I don't know. That's why I'm a terrible parent, because my children have come to me and they say, "Dad," I said, "Sorry, I don't know." Yeah, I'm actually good. I think I'm a pretty good dad, but
we won't leave on that.
And funnily enough, even though I'm their dad, they're all doing really well.
I'm glad to hear.
And they're having fun, and they've got their passions, and So good on you, Big Al and Scott.
Thanks,
thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you, mate.
Absolute pleasure, mate, and thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got up to about 1974 there. Maybe another time.
Mate, we'd love to have you
you're
back.
Welcome back.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, let's do it. All right.
All right. Cheers. I'm going to go and watch a replay of the golf now. Bye.
No, sounds good.
All right, cheers.